Is now saving Iowa's sensitive crops and insects from pesticides. That's the goal of FieldWatch, a national mapping tool alerting pesticide applicators where to steer clear.
But in order for the tool to work, farmers and beekeepers, for instance, need to register their crops and hives, making the accuracy driven by usage. Now, while the CEO of FieldWatch says it's hard to know the exact number of crops and insects saved, the best evidence of its success lies with vegetable producers. He says early on they were losing a lot of crops due to pesticide applicators. Well, now the crop loss is almost insignificant with the amount of producers and applicators using the tool.
And it doesn't matter if they're spraying from a tractor or from a plane. It doesn't matter if they're spraying along the roadsides or spraying for mosquitoes or spraying agricultural land. They use the tool until they're aware.
Now, within FieldWatch, there's a couple of different registries, including DriftWatch and BeeCheck. Walter says in Iowa, beekeepers must register their hives and says at the end of the day, it's all to minimize the loss of crops and bees from the accidental contamination or drift of a chemical spray.
And a little context for you. Here is that BeeCheck map. You can see the state is pretty much covered in red, about 38,000 colonies in total. And one local beekeeper wants to see even more red out there. But to really help the bees, he also wants to give wings to the so-called Iowa Bee Rule that uses this information to tell sprayers where and when they can use pesticides.
Jamie BEYER is all abuzz for bees.
Beekeeping is one of the most educational tools on learning about nature than I've ever experienced.
An apiarist for 8 years, he's also the president of the Central Iowa Beekeepers Association. And he's the first to admit he likes to talk about bees a lot.
Somebody finds out I'm a beekeeper, I'm surrounded by people with questions. They want to know about it. They want to know about what the problems of bees. They want to know just what I do.
Jamie takes any chance he can get to raise awareness about bees because he says it's working. Iowa's honeybee population is stable, he says, maybe even going up a bit.
And that is because of the increased interest in keeping honeybees. There's a lot of people that are into bees now. They might only have 5 or 10 hives or 2 hives. Those are hobby beekeepers. We're seeing a huge increase in those beekeepers.
Jamie likes the idea of BeeCheck, even with its shortcomings.
Unfortunately, it's not adhered to by 100% of the beekeepers out there. Some people are kind of private in where they keep bees. They're worried that somebody's going to come in and steal their bees. So if they register their hives, everybody knows where their hives are then.
Jamie would like to see all beekeepers register, and the spraying rules apply to not just commercial sprayers, but private ones as well.
A private farmer in his own application does not have to abide by that rule, but like where I keep my bees, they still abide by it for the benefit of me.
An instance where it pays to be neighborly, have conversations, and share the strategy that will hopefully not only lead to more red dots on a map, but more bees pollinating and making honey across Iowa for generations to come.
Pollinating alone is reason enough to protect the bees. They are crucial to crops like almonds and apples. But in Iowa, the state is ranked 16th in honey production. In 2021, Iowa beekeepers produced 2 million pounds of honey, valued at just over $5 million. So it is somewhat of a cash crop.
Yes.
Here in Iowa, who knew? Bees, very important.
I've had some local honey here before. And
it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely good.